Buy, sell, wait. Was that the best way to call it? I don't
Yeah.
know. That's close enough. That's what I
Keep,
came
cut,
up
hold
with.
is what I usually call it, but still.
What was yours? Sorry.
Keep, cut, hold.
Keep, cut, hold. All right. Who wants to go first here? We'll let Cole go first here. We're each going to have 3 quarterbacks that were given to us by another member of the show. So we didn't get to pick our quarterbacks. That'd have been way too easy. I'd have just picked somebody that was terrible to cut. But Cole, go first. Tom, you had the 3 quarterbacks for Cole. Keep one, hold one, cut one.
Yeah.
So my picks were the aforementioned Bo Perbula from Mizzou. I think we're obligated when it comes to the SEC to talk about Arch Manning and Texas, and then Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee. Those are your 3.
This is challenging because there's a part of me with my Mizzou fandom that has just been embedded in my system since I watched Sean Weatherspoon play to believe that, yes, Bo Perbula would be an easy hold because of the expectations are, what if he's now a full-time starter? But it's the easy cut for me because of he hasn't been a full-time starter, where even though I don't know what I'm getting entirely in Arch, I know what the sample size has been exciting. I'm going to keep Arch Manning, and the reason I'm keeping Arch Manning is because there are some athletic traits that just stand out about his game that I think were limited with Quinn Ewers. And there's a lot of people that are going to go back and have revisionist memory and say, if this 4th down play features 16 versus 3 on the field, Texas converts, they get the first down, and maybe the entire outlook of the season changes. So there's a part of me that says, if he is as advertised, if he is as expected, even though you are adding 3 new wide receivers, and we don't know who those are going to be. We know DeAndre Moore is going to have an opportunity to be wide receiver number 1. We know that they also brought in some really good up-and-coming talent like Khalil Lockett. They brought in Jamie French. We also know that they really love Ryan Wingo, and Wingo has an opportunity to be the number 1 force in the SEC this year. Even though they are replacing 4 starting offensive linemen, that mobility, I think the footwork, I think his throwing motion, I think his mechanics, being a part of the Manning lore is going to carry a lot of weight. And he's been in Steve Sarkisian's system for 3 years. This is not a guy that you're throwing out there as a freshman saying, hey, figure it out. You're a Manning. You should be able to do this. This is a guy that has everything locked on up. So I'm going to keep Arch Manning, and I'm holding my stock on Nico. And the reason I'm doing this, boys, is because of, I remember saying last offseason, do not be shocked when all of this hype from people that work in this industry that know that they'll get clicks because Tennessee is an easy place to go ahead and engagement farm. People are salivating to watch a quarterback come on in if he does not meet the expectations. And I told people, expect this to be a defensive heavy team and a good rushing attack. But in year 2 underneath Josh Heupel as a full-time starter, the way that we're going to be talking about Nico is the way that we should have been talking about him a year from now, not in 2024. And we know this because of what did we watch with Hendon Hooker? A full transparent rebuild and a full more stableness of confidence, a team that was more explosive. I do wonder about that wide receiver room. I got to be able to see a little bit more from Mike Matthews. I know Braylon Staley is going to be lining up in the slot and that there's expectations for Chris Brazzell to take that next step forward. They love Travis Smith, the 4-star wide receiver. They think that he could be a household name by the end of the year. But I just feel like a full season where I get to see Nico in his element, using his legs, the mobility is going to be holding out a little bit more. There's a bit more excitement, I think, that comes this season. So I'm not ready to sell my stock on Nico. I'm not ready to go fully into the orange, go Vols, red, like that puke orange that people like to. I'm not ready to go that far, but I'm going to hold out hope that, yes, what we believed Nico was going to be after that Citrus Bowl win against Iowa, it just was a year delayed. It wasn't put on display and then thrown on the shelf and said, hey, that was the moment where people decided to lose their minds.
And you have a sell?
Oh, so was Bo Perbula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was an easy one. He barely played. Like that's the whole thing is that I at least know what I'm getting in Arch from the athletic standpoint. It's a hard sell because I've watched Perbula go off this year and watch him end up being better than Drew Aller. But still, I mean, it's an easy sell for me right now.
All right, so Tom, do you have any thoughts on that, or Are we following up on
I
these?
mean,
Are we
Will
moving on?
Levis did make Sean Clifford look pretty bad in the year after that. I just want to say, if we get an overall governing body that controls schedules across the board in college football, why wouldn't you schedule Mizzou versus Penn State in 2025 so you get Aller versus Purdue?
Just
Like
once.
this is just television booking, people.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
seriously, I hate to make everything pro wrestling, but like it's super easy.
Get
Okay.
rid of bowl
And this-
tie-ins and just have it happen in the postseason.
No, this
If not-
has to be both teams go 10-2. They both get the 8 and 9 seed. They play against each other in Happy Valley. Like,
Into-
move the
into
Tennessee,
overtime.
Ohio State. Just do that.
into overtime because
Exactly.
postseason will wanna-
Papula gets the last laugh at the SEC's reign supreme.
Oh God.
Tom has Dylan Raiola, Dante Moore, and Fernando Mendoza coming over from Cal.
This one's tough in that I'm going to sell Dante Moore for the similar reasons that Cole put out there. We just don't know. We have a very limited sample size of what he is. There's a lot of hype behind him. I think he's going to fit really well in this Oregon offense. And by the time 2025 is over, he could be in that argument for perhaps the best quarterback in the Big Ten. But I just don't know at this point in time on April 9th, 2025. I have a better understanding of Dylan Raiola and Fernando Mendoza. So I am going to keep Dylan Raiola. Again, better sample size within the Big Ten. I like what he put on tape last year, especially when Dana Holgerson was calling plays. I think they've given him more pieces to work with on offense, which is going to be exciting. And yeah, canceling the spring game ought to just really make everything perfect for Matt Rule and company. But they have to perform. I think there's a lot of pressure on them, but I think the schedule sets up well for Dylan Raiola to take a leap this coming season. Fernando Mendoza is very interesting. And I mentioned it before. I just did a show this week that'll come out later on with Rhett Lewis, former Indiana Hoosier wide receiver, my co-host on Believe in Big Ten, talking about Fernando Mendoza and the way that he's spoken about Mendoza. And all due respect to Curtis Rourke, who played his butt off this past season. Fernando Mendoza might be set up to play even better than Rourke played last year. Perhaps a better skill set, stronger arm. And I think the interesting thing with him is you got more years of eligibility to work with at Indiana under Kurt Cignetti in a season where they're going to try and prove they're not just a one-hit wonder. So I'm going to keep Dylan Raiola. I'm going to hold Fernando Mendoza. I'm going to sell Dante Moore.
Can I counter argue this just simply because I'm going to hold out hope that Dylan Raiola is going to be the right answer as soon as he decides to hold out and realize I need to have my own personality and not just be Patrick Mahomes at the college football level. Like, I mean, honestly, like at least Fernando Mendoza is who he is. He's prideful.
Yeah, he's for the boys. He is for the boys.
He's crying on the sidelines after losing to Cal, and now all we're getting is this Dylan Raiola watching film of Patrick Mahomes' pregame and then literally cosplaying at him. Like he went to Nebraska to wear that same red. Like that's the entire reason I believe it. But I do agree with you. Dana Holgerson in that offense, it's a match made in heaven, and it's a scary thought for anybody out in Lincoln right now that this may be the year where Nebraska's good.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Cole gave me 3. I was really hoping he would throw some of the rivals that Florida State has in here to just make it extra spicy, but he didn't. Who do we have here, Cole?
Because you're our resident other 2 guys, so I want to make sure that we threw in the other 2 conferences out of respect. Your 3, Jalen Daniels from Kansas, CJ Bailey from NC State, and Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, who may single-handedly had saved Dave Aranda's job last year.
Yeah, this might surprise people, or they may not be aware that any of these guys, well, Jalen Daniels well known enough, but people may not even know that CJ and Sawyer were quarterbacks at those places. So maybe people won't care about this take, but I am interested to hear the responses to this. I'm going to buy Sawyer Robertson.
Yes.
I think that the potential he has shown, I mean, taking over, and like you just said, I mean, I had that as a point in my notes here, so I'll try not to be long-winded so we can get to the wild card. But yeah, the way that they played the second half of the year last year. Baylor was so bad in the beginning of the year and then ascended, but they were already like too far out of it for people to care. But if they would have gotten this kind of performance early, like they would have been a team that people would have talked about late, and over 3,000 yards passing, 30 plus total touchdowns, the way that he can run and pass, the way that he stepped up and led after Browning's injury. Like I'm buying it. I think that the stock is high right now, but I still think it's a good time to buy. You're still kind of buying low. Is it crazy to think that he could even get into like dark horse Heisman conversations if they play really well? I mean, they're gonna have to win 10, 11 games for that to happen. Yeah. But I do think that coming back healthy, the excitement around them. Baylor's schedule sets up well. Yeah, he's my buy, and it's not close. Here's maybe where we get to more
I
controversy.
don't think so.
I'm selling on Jalen.
Yeah.
And I think he's the most talented of the three. Like, there's no question of the amount of talent that he truly has. Just inconsistency and injuries make it a risky investment. Could he be the best of the three? There is no doubt. If he puts it all together and stays healthy, there's a very good chance that he has the best season of these three. Kansas finished on a very good peak at the end of the year. He obviously had heroics in previous seasons, and there's a reason that there was so much hype for him going into 2024. He had a okay season, but a 14 to 12 touchdown to interception ratio worries me. I do think that the way he started the year last year, I don't know if it was a focus thing. I don't know if it was an injury. I don't know what the issue was, but he just wasn't as efficient. So I'm selling him high. Again, he could very well have the best year of the three, but I'm just not ready to do anything but sell him. And then I will not give up on CJ Bailey just yet. He's young, tons of potential, very raw. He needs to develop, but as a true freshman, I thought he did a good job after McCall went down. He certainly, NC State was in just an abysmal place early. He came in and kind of righted that ship some, as well as he could. What did he finish? 5-3 over his starts?
I think it was 4-4 or 4-5, something like that.
Yeah. So kind of average, but stepping into a tough situation with a team that was not very good. 2,000 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 8 picks, but he did have big moments. They did upset Cal. They were close in other games that have people feeling optimistic. New OC, I do think that would be the one that I hold. He also just a timing factor is big. He's got more time than Jalen, who has the one last year left. So, buy Baylor, sell on Daniels, and we'll hold on
CJ Bailey.
CJ. Yeah, sorry.
I don't think it's that bold to say that if you do your top 10 quarterback rankings, Sawyer Robertson is in that range of 10 through 14. I don't think it's that. Right now, I would say that he is the second best quarterback in the Big 12, only behind Sam Leavitt.
I think I'd buy. I need to look at the whole. I need to make sure there's not somebody that I'm like leaving completely out of here. But
I think Caden, your Liberty Flame, I think he deserves some consideration.
Yeah, I'd have him top 5 for sure, right?
Yeah,
but I don't know that
in conference. In conference.
Yeah. In the Big 12. Maybe top 3, but I don't know. I want to see it.
I'd still take Avery Johnson over him.
He was disappointing last year for sure.
He was, which is why they get to clear cut number 2, Sawyer Robertson, right now.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Power 2. This was part of a live show that you can get right now by clicking the link on the screen. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed to College Football Addiction so you don't miss any of The Power 2.